Now, as I told you that in the previous example which I took, that is the electrolysis of NaCl. So I just showed you the difference between the like if we take an electrolyte, the molten NaCl, and when we take an electrolyte that is the aqueous NaCl. So I think you are now just familiar and you can do the electrolysis if the electrolyte just differ in the nature, that is the molten and the aqueous one, right. The second example which I am taking is not similar to the first one, as in this what I am taking, and the electrolyte is same, like in the previous one the electrolyte just differ in the molten and the aqueous one. So in this figure, this example is just different from that example, and the difference is that in this the electrolyte is same and the difference lies in the nature of the electrode, right. That means in one case I am just taking the graphite electrodes, like in this the electrodes are made up of graphite, and in this case I am not taking the graphite electrode. That means I am taking one graphite electrode, that is the cathode is made up of graphite but the anode is made up of copper. That means I am using the copper electrode, right. So you will get to see the difference between the two of them in also. That means that that just shows that if we just take a different types of electrode, then also the electrolysis differ. That means the reactions, the basic thing is the same, but still there is a difference that exists. So just look at the difference, right. So first I am doing an electrolysis of aqueous CuSO4 and I am just taking the electrodes which are made up of graphite. I am repeating, I am just taking a simple electrodes, and the two of the electrodes are made up of the same material, that is the graphite, that is the allotrope of the carbon. So just look at the board what happens. So as it is an aqueous, so just looking at the aqueous word, it should be clear in your mind that you have to dissociate the salt as well as you have to dissociate the water. So this is what I am doing. I am just dissociating the CuSO4 and I am dissociating the water as well. So that means it will just split up into the copper ions and sulfate ions. Likewise, water will split up into the hydrogen ion and the hydroxide ion. As we know that when we have this thing, the two kinds of ion and the oppositely, whether we have one kind of ion, whether we have two kind of ion, so we know that the oppositely charged ion just move to the oppositely charged electrode. So that means these ions carry positive charge, so that means they will move to the negatively charged electrode, that is the cathode, right. And these are negatively charged ones, so that means they will be moving to the positively charged electrode, that is the anode. So let us see what kind of reaction they will just cause. That means which ion is going to get reduced and which ion is going to get oxidized. So reaction at cathode. So which two ions are just going at cathode? Write in your copy as well, because you are now familiar with the electrolysis and even you can think that which ion is going to get reduced or oxidized. So out of them, these two ions are going to move to the cathode, right. So we have Cu2 positive and we have hydrogen ion. And as I told you in the previous example as well, that there is a rule that if more than one kind of ion move to a same electrode, then the you can say the reaction occur for that ion, or that ion gets discharged which has the lower electrode potential. You can also say the lower reduction potential. So you need to know the potential values as well, right. So out of them, the Cu2 positive and H positive, which ion has the lower electrode potential? So do you have any idea? Yes, you are right, it is the copper ion, not the hydrogen ion, it is the copper ion. So out of them, which ion is going to get discharged? Obviously it is a copper ion. And or you can, if somebody asks you, out of them, which ion is going to get reduced? So obviously the ion which has the lower electrode potential is going to get reduced. So that is our copper ion. So this copper ion, 2 positive means it has lost 2 electrons, and we know that the reduction means it will just gain the electron which it has already lost. So how many electrons? See, first add plus, that means we are adding back. So how many electrons? We get to see 2 positive charge, so we are adding 2 electrons and it turns into a pure copper atom, and this starts depositing in the cathode. So this kind of reaction just goes on, and these copper coating just coat this graphite electrode. Now what happens at anode? So that means this ion and this ion just moves to anode because they are negatively charged. So that means they will move to the positively charged electrode, that is the anode. Now again the question comes, the one which has the lower electrode potential is going to get discharged. So let us see out of them which of them has the lower electrode potential. So out of them, hydroxide ion has got the lower electrode potential. That means it is going to get this, though both of them will move, but out of them only one with the lower electrode potential is going to get discharged, and that is the hydroxide ion. So the reaction, that means the one which will get oxidized will be the hydroxide ion. So this is OH negative, it will be losing an electron and it will be forming OH, right. So this reaction will not occur as such because this OH ion cannot exist independently. So what happens, we just balance it, 2 OH ions lose 2 electrons and form 2 OH, because this means something. What is that? Just look at the board. 2 OH just rearrange to form 1 water molecule and 1 oxygen the molecule. So just see, it is 2 OH, now it is balanced with it, right. So that means we have this oxygen gas liberated at, sorry, this is an atom, again I am just repeating you, see 2 OH negative, again I am doing, just look at the board carefully, we are just balancing it. So OH negative lose 1 electron, it will form OH, because as such the OH cannot exist in nature as such, so we are just balancing with 2, so we get 2 OH, right. 2 OH just rearrange to form 1 H2O and 1 oxygen atom, right. So now this oxygen atom cannot exist independently, as we know it is a diatomic molecule. So it will just combine, 2 atomic oxygen will combine to form O2. So this is how the electrolysis of aqueous CuSO4 is going to take place when we have the graphite electrodes. Again for a quick recap, I am just writing this equation in a figure. See, we have CuSO4, on passing current it breaks up into this, and as it is, we know that it is an aqueous one, so we also have the hydroxide and these kind of hydrogen and hydroxide ions. So these negative ones will be moving to this electrode and these positive ones will be moving to this electrode, right. And as we know, the one which has the lower electrode potential just gets discharged, right. So just let us see, out of Cu2 positive, Cu2 positive gets discharged. So that means this Cu2 positive will gain 2 electron and will form Cu, and this blue one is the coating of the Cu, which is the result of the reduction which is taking place, that means the copper, that means the conversion of copper ion to the copper. And similarly on this, which is going to get oxidized, obviously the hydroxide ones. So we are just arranging them. So it leads to the formation of, I am just writing the direct equation, H2O plus O2. We will balance it further, right. So this is, that means O2 is liberated at anode and copper is liberated at cathode. So this is actually the electrolysis of the aqueous CuSO4 using the graphite electrodes. That means that both of the electrode, anode and cathode, are made up of the same material, that is the graphite, or we can use any other material, that means any inert material which do not affect the electrolyte, or you can say which do not undergo any chemical dissociation. So this is how I have shown. Now the question is that what is the difference when we use the graphite electrodes, and that means the 2 similar electrodes, and here I am just using 2 dissimilar electrodes. That means I have cathode which is made up of graphite, but the anode is made up of copper, that I have already written for you. That means the anode is made up of copper and the cathode is made up of graphite. So what difference in the electrolysis that exists? So just look at the board. Again, it is an aqueous CuSO4. So by just looking at aqueous, you should have an idea that in it the dissociation of CuSO4 and the water both will take place, as we did in this case, right. So similarly I am doing here, right. And as I told you, the positively charged ions just move to the cathode, you know that, and the negatively one goes at anode, similarly as they did in this case, right. So what happens at cathode? Out of the Cu2 positive and H ion, I told you that this has the lower reduction potential, that means it has the lower electric potential, it will get discharged and it will get reduced. Similarly, it is going to reduce here, get reduced here, this side also, So see, I am just reducing it, and it is a pure coating which is formed at cathode, right. Now what happens at anode? So at anode what goes? SO4 negative goes, hydroxide ion goes, and already we just look at the board, anode is made up of copper. So that means on anode what kind of ions are present? Sulfate ions, they just move to anode, hydroxide ion moves to anode, and copper is already present because anode is made up of copper. So what is going to happen? What is the difference? Here is the difference that lies between this and this. Just look at the board, what is it? It is that neither this is going to get discharged at anode, because it is made up of copper electrode. So copper is going to get oxidized. Neither the sulfate ions will get oxidized, nor this hydroxide ions. Which ion is going to get oxidized? That is the copper atom, which is already present, or you can say which is a component of the electrode. So that means copper atom, which is a component of an electrode, is going to reduce an electron and it will form Cu2 positive. See, I will write these equations in a figure, you will be more clear with that. What happens actually? This CuSO4 breaks into this Cu2 positive and SO4 negative, it is clear to you, right? And we have water too, so it also gets split into this, right. And as we know, out of them they move towards cathode, but this has the lower electrode potential. That means it is getting reduced, right. That means cathode is continuously coated with the copper atoms, right. Now what goes to anode? So obviously these ions moves towards anode, but though it is already made up of copper, so out of them neither this nor this is going to show the oxidation. It is the copper, you can say the component of the electrode, which is going to get reduced, so oxidized, sorry. So what happens? This copper electrode just loses 2 electron and form Cu2 positive. So here you can say it is being oxidized. Now what happens to this copper ions? They move into the solution, right. So these copper ions just move into the solution, and we know that in the solution already Cu2 positive ions are present. And what is the fate of that Cu2 positive ions? These Cu2 positive ions initially which were present in the solution, and also the ions which move from the anode to the solution, all the Cu2 positive ions, they are just migrating towards the cathode and just getting that means getting reduced, that means they are gaining their electron and just forming the coating of copper on the cathode. So here is the difference. I think you can predict the difference now, that in this case what actually happened, till here it is same, but the difference lies only in this, that in this case it was made up of graphite, and out of them this has the lower electrode potential and this gets actually oxidized, right. But in this case, though we have the anode already made up of copper, so out of them neither this nor this showed the oxidation. It is the copper which gets oxidized, and when it gets oxidized it forms the ion, it migrates to the into the solution, and from the solution all the Cu2 positive ions are taken to the the cathode, and here they are again getting reduced, and though as a result we were getting the coating of copper on the cathode, similarly we are getting the copper of the coating of copper on the cathode. So you just have to just make the difference. See, it is an important task when you are carrying out the electrolysis between the molten electrolyte and the aqueous one. So you need to know that in the aqueous one you need to dissociate the water as well, and in the molten we are just concerned with the salt, right. But in the aqueous one we are concerned that out of them which is going to have the lower electrode potential, that is going to undergo oxidation or reduction accordingly, right. So this is the first point which you must remember, right. The second thing is that when you are doing the electrolysis, even the nature of electrode matters a lot, as we saw in this case, that in this case the hydroxide ion was getting oxidized, but in this case as it was already made up of the material copper, so neither the sulfate ions nor the hydroxide ions were getting oxidized, it was the copper only which were getting oxidized. So you should be concerned with the nature of the electrolyte, and you should be concerned with the nature of electrode as well. It is very important. Just write in your copies and just look for the few more examples and just try to do